Hello everyone, my name is Anna and welcome to Cactus Caffeine. In this channel, I share with you my passion for growing cactus and other desert plants over a cup of coffee. Finally, it is a warmer day than usual here in Las Vegas. It is winter, it is the first week of February. January has been very cold and very windy, but today our temperature is expected to reach a high of lows in the low 60s, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very comfortable for a winter day. It is actually the nighttime temperatures that I'm watching more than the morning temperatures, because at nighttime that's when we dip to below freezing levels. In the morning, even though it is very cold, we still get a lot of sunshine, as you can see. So I am not very worried about the morning temperatures. It is actually at night when it gets very risky, when it gets to below freezing temperatures. I think the lowest that we got or we reached in January was 25, 24 degrees Fahrenheit, if I'm not mistaken. And it lasted for about a couple of days, for a few hours at nighttime. But then for the most nights in January, it was at low 30s or high 20s. Anyway, since our nighttime temperatures this week is expected to be in the 40s, that is a very comfortable temperature for my cacti. That is why I removed the freeze protection blanket. If you've seen my videos in Instagram and in Facebook, I had a video showing when this was all covered in freeze protection blanket. They were mostly under the blanket for the most part of January, but yesterday I took them out for the very first time, and in place of the blankets I have these shade cloth. This is to prevent them from the sudden exposure in the sun, and to prevent them from burning. It is like, you know, when you purchase a new cacti, order a new cacti in the mail, they're inside the box for a few days, so you don't expose them to sun right away. So that is the purpose of this shade cloth. It is to get them acclimated to the sunlight, since I just removed the covers. All right, so you can somehow see them through the shade cloth covers. There's actually not much to see. They're pretty much still in winter dormancy. Okay, here's what it looks like on this side. Not much activity going on yet. Okay, and there are a few that are actually very shriveled still, which is understandable. Okay, and then on this section right here, these two, however, are very hardy. I didn't have to put them under the freeze protection blanket. When we had the very low temperature at nighttime, I just stuck them closer to the wall. Okay, but I did not have to cover them. They were fine. These aloes back here, I did not actually get to enjoy them during winter time because they were under the covers for the most part of January, but somehow they still managed to flower even under the covers. They are dehydrated though. Some are showing severe signs of dehydration. See here? So they need to be watered badly. The last time I watered these aloes is around first week of January. Yeah, that's the last time I watered actually everything, even the cacti slightly. Okay, but these aloes, I always keep them watered even during the winter time because they are actually winter growers for me. But when they were under the covers, I did not have the chance to water them as often as I wanted to, and so they look dehydrated. Some of you are asking me when I will release an aloe collection video once again, an updated one. And don't worry guys, I will. I am planning to do an update on my aloe collection. I just need to rehydrate them once again to make them, you know, look nice when I show them each and every aloe to you guys. So you will appreciate how they should look and not how they actually look right now. Just give me probably a couple of weeks, guys, before I do that video once again. I just need to, you know, rehydrate them and then also do some cleaning up before I release an aloe collection video. Down here in this rack, I actually have some seedlings, which I am surprised are very hardy, very cold hardy. These are Parodia rosoliatus. Okay, I have a lot of this actually. Some are in the greenhouse, some are in my garage, and then these are what I wasn't able to fit in there, so they stayed out here. But surprisingly, they look very good. They actually look like they're growing. And then I have some trichocereus seedlings in here too, very cold hardy. Okay, and then a few more down here, mixture of Echinopsis, Mammillaria, and Trichocereus seedlings. As for my San Pedro cactus that recently broke due to the high winds, here is that column that broke right now. So I did a cleaner cut on top, and then I applied sulfur powder on top of it to prevent fungus. I also cut it at a slight angle or diagonally, so that if water gets on top of this, the water will just flow down and not pool on top, because that might cause rotting. Now, as for the column that broke, I will show you guys what I did to it later on when we get to the greenhouse. I decided to chop it into 4 pieces rather than planting that very tall columnar cactus. Okay, now let's go to the greenhouse and check on the plants that are in here. I have a bucket of water in here actually because I plan to water some of the cacti, and I think I will show you guys how I water during winter time. And okay, let me get a cup of water. Okay, it's stepped in here in the greenhouse. So here in the greenhouse, I do have a heater right there on the floor, and I try to keep the temperature here at above 40 degrees, about 45 degrees actually, but sometimes it goes a little lower than 45. So that's the temperature that I try to maintain here in the greenhouse. There are exciting developments though here inside the greenhouse, more than outside my greenhouse. See this Eriosyce? This is Eriosyce nidusinilis. It is in bud. This is always one of my early bloomers, but I would say this year it is a very, very early. Those buds started around, I think I noticed them second week of January. As for the rest, let me see. Oh, this might be starting something. It's too early to tell though. Most of them are still very shriveled. See that one? Parodia, it's leaning. Another lobivia there at the back, leaning because of severe dehydration. And oh, this euphorbia, I do see some cold damage on it. See the brown spots? That is cold damage. I should have placed this in my garage along with my other euphorbia. But then again, it's almost the end of winter, so I think it should be fine. I'll just leave it there. Okay. So today I am actually going to be watering since it is a warmer than usual day, and then the nighttime temperatures are in the 40s. I can afford to water just a little bit. I do water my cacti even though it is winter time. I made a video explaining why and how I do that. If you want to see that video, I'll put the link up on the screen and also below this video. But to cut the long story short, I do water my cacti. I give them slight water even during winter time, and that is to prevent their roots from desiccating. Here in Nevada, our winter is very dry, cold but very dry. Our humidity is also very low, less than 20%, sometimes even less than 10%. And that is why withholding water to most of these cacti, though it might not kill them, most of them lose their roots. And when they lose their roots, come springtime, they don't flower because they just spend the entire spring and summer trying to regrow their roots, that they miss out on the flowering. So that is why I give them a little sip of water even during winter time. I am going to show you how much water I do during winter time. So say this pot, and I have this cup of water. It's not actually full, but this is how much water I would give this size of a pot. Okay, and this soil, by the way, is very, very dry. So that water might not actually go down through the drainage hole. It is just enough to introduce moisture to the soil. So my goal actually is not really to hydrate the cactus, but it's more of just introducing some moisture to the soil so that the cactus roots don't die back, okay? So that is how much water I would give a pot like this. A bigger pot, I would probably do 2 cups of water. And this is just plain water, okay? I just diluted it with vinegar to bring down the pH level of the water to about 6, the same as the rainwater pH level, about a teaspoon per gallon, okay? Depends on the pH of your tap water. But since our tap water is very alkaline, I would say about a teaspoon per gallon. That's the only thing I mixed here in the water. No fertilizer yet because it's still winter. My mellow cactus, I do water this every winter time because they lose their roots if they are left bone dry for a very long time. Oh, here is another cactus that's showing signs of waking up. It has one bud developing. This one is a lobevia, so I'm gonna give this water as well. Okay. As for the rest, I don't see any signs of waking up yet. Anyway, if you want to know if your cactus is out of winter dormancy, I will also attach a link to the video I made of the signs to watch out for in order to know if your cactus is out of winter dormancy. I also would like to hear from you if you water your cacti and succulents during winter. I know this is something that not all of us should be doing, but this is what I do given my climate here. Let me know in the comments below if you do or don't water during the winter. Include also the reason behind why such is your practice. I am sure not all of you can relate to my experience, so sharing what you also do given your growing condition will be good information for everyone. I discovered another cactus in bud. This is Mammillaria pectinifera. How exciting. I think this is the first time that this one will flower for me. For cacti in smaller pots, I'm only giving them half of this cup. Here is the Echinopsis pachanoi, or the San Pedro cactus, that I cut or chopped into 4. This is the one that was knocked down due to the wind. I am planning to use them as a grafting stock, but then I did not graft on them right away because when I cut them up, I noticed that there isn't much juice in here, so it was a little bit dry. Probably because this is on a winter rest or winter dormancy since it's out in my backyard. And when this one broke, it was actually very, very cold. So I did not graft on them right away. I just cut them and placed them in this pot. There are some broken terracotta pots underneath there, so the bottom doesn't touch the bottom of these pot, just for air circulation. So I left them here for now, and then I plan to plant them when I get the chance, I'm letting the bottom heal first or dry. I'll probably give it one more week. It's been in here for a week and probably one more week before I would plant them in soil. And then comes springtime or summertime, when they plump a little bit, okay, when they plump back up, then I will use them for grafting. This is the rack with my gymnocalyciums. I love how this is growing. This is a crested gymno. Not sure what kind of gymnocalycium, but it is growing very well. I like how purple it is right now due to the cold temperature. As for my aloes, I give them more water than I do my cacti because aloes for me actually grow better during the winter time. This is the time that they flower, they produce their very nice stressed color, and as you can see here, some of them have started producing seed pods. Let's head on over here to my garden. Trichocereus specianus, looking good despite the cold temperatures. Puntia, some Trichocereus here. Okay, my Aloaudia procera. Hopefully it will leaf out soon, but that is what it does when it gets very cold and dry. Alright, Trichocereus, and this is my Echinocereus engelmanni. I'm not worried about this because this is native here in Nevada. It can withstand our cold temperature and very hot summer as well. Ferrocactus cylindraceus, another Nevada native. And surprisingly, this Opuntia Santa Rita is doing very well here, despite them not being protected. Here is the garden. Ooh, my Opuntias, very much shriveled and purple as well. Okay, this one, Opuntia sulfurea, looks like it badly needs a drink. I'm going to be watering this section of my garden as well. I have these pots in here, the terracotta pots, because these are actually what I use to cover the tips of the cacti when it gets below freezing level. So what I do is, for instance, this Mexican fence post, I cover the tip with a terracotta pot. You can also use styrofoam cups or anything that covers the tips because it is actually the tips of the cacti that are very delicate and very sensitive to cold temperatures. So the bottom may be able to withstand the cold temperatures. It is on the tips where you will first see the damage due to cold temperatures. That is why I have these terracotta pots right here. Just in case there is a forecast of freezing temperatures, I cover the tips of my columnar cacti. I am now here in my garage where I also overwinter some of my plants. Here's my car here, very close to them, so I don't have a lot of space to walk in here. But here in my garage is where I placed my euphorbia. So here are some of my euphorbias right here. Euphorbias cannot handle the freeze, so definitely they have to be warmer or kept warm during the winter. Haworthias as well, this type of Haworthia, they are very frost tender. Okay, and then I have a peanut cactus in here because in the previous years, they always don't look good whenever I leave them out during the winter. most of the segments they fall. So I kept them in here and they look better now compared to the previous winters. I have my Thanksgiving cacti in here. Okay, my very big Goni Aloe Variegata is also in here. They are under 2 grow lights right here. I don't think these will survive in here without these grow lights because my garage doesn't have any window. So there is no sunlight going through this garage. So a grow light is a must. Oh, I stand corrected. I have 3 grow lights actually. There's another one there on top of my seedlings. Alright, so these are some more cacti that I'm keeping in here. Some haworthias. Okay, and then like I said, I also have my seedlings in here under a grow light and also on top of a heat mat. So here in my garage, I don't have a heater, although the garage temperature is about 10 degrees warmer than it is outside. Still, for these seedlings, it gets cold here, sometimes in the 40s in the garage. So that definitely is too cold for seedlings. So I have them on top of a heat mat. The plants here in my garage, I water these more often than I do the ones that are in my greenhouse or outside in my backyard. Here in the garage, as you can see, most of the euphorbias are growing. They also grow well for me during the winter time. And the haworthias are also growing. As you can see, this one is developing a flower. So for here in the garage, I water them probably, I would say, every 2 weeks. As for the ones in my greenhouse and outside in my backyard, I remember I watered them twice in December, once in January, and then now first week of February, I am watering them for the very first time. But here in my garage, these has been watered almost every 2 weeks. I will finish up watering here in my greenhouse, also outside my greenhouse. Now, watering during the winter time is not something that I recommend that all of you do. This is just something that I do because of my climate here and where I live at here in the desert. This is something that I do during winter time. Our winter here is not as harsh as it is in other places. So if you do consider to water during winter time, please be very cautious. Take into consideration your temperature, your humidity. Also take a look at your cacti. They will tell you if they need a drink of water or not. If you see them very much shriveled or getting dehydrated very fast, then maybe they need a little bit of water. And it also depends on the type of cactus that you are growing. Some are more sensitive to getting wet during the winter time or when they are dormant, while others actually appreciate getting a little drink of water during the winter season. If you live in a place with very high humidity, you can afford not to water your cactus during the winter time because the cacti can actually absorb moisture from the air. I'm loving how blue this Pilosocereus azureus has become during this winter time. Alright, so I will end my video here, guys. Thank you guys for joining me today. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram and in Facebook. And until next time, bye everyone and cheers!